join me in the invocation this morning. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're always grateful for an opportunity to serve you and our community. We pray, Lord, for your wisdom and direction today. Help us to make wise choices that will be a blessing to all our residents here, Lord. We also lift up any of our folks who are sick or hurting or need your healing touch. We just ask you to minister to them today. Thankful for all you do for us. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Join me to pledge the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Do we have any announcements this morning? Anyone? We do have one public comment, and Ms. Patterson, I will let you wait until we get to that item we're discussing. We'll wait and let you speak when we get to that item. All right. We do have a quorum present today. Present voting, Precinct 1 is Commissioner Hatfield, Precinct 2, Commissioner Timmons, Sims presiding, Precinct 3 is Commissioner Coos, and Precinct 4 is Commissioner Ebon. Call the county court to order. It is 9:04 a.m. here on February 25th. We're in the historic courthouse here in Marshall, Texas. First item today, we're actually going to skip number 1, but we don't have any line item transfers. And on to number 2, which is consideration and approval of payment of regular bills. Good morning, Ms.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am requesting payment of $1,105,014.39. Included in that is the jail's control systems of $461,952.36. Since our last court, we did receive some of the funds. We have received to date that of the $900,000 funds that we are still owed. We have received in the month of January $328,212.58. That means we still have outstanding $630,706.96. No word when we will get it. We hope soon. So we continue to wait for it and watch our notifications.
On your kind of your hope meter, is it real hopeful, like we're going to get it?
I'm not even at 50-50. Yeah.
Is all that 900-something thousand been billed, or y'all continually billing?
No, we met the deadline and had everything submitted to the Department of Health and Human Services by July 31st. We met every deadline that they required of us.
Are they still in existence?
In addition to the subdactic invoice, we also have 3 vehicles for enterprise that we have a credit for $41,751. So we do have that included in the invoices. On another note regarding ARPA, I received an email from the U.S. Treasury this morning saying that we deobligated $105 of the $12,927,034.87. So that's the ARPA funds. And we did not spend $105 of it, and that's due to E-Tex. We had to spend 1.5, and their agreement was $1,499,894.87. So we were short 105. They have already sent an email saying we owe them 105. So,
5,000?
no, $105.
Oh, that's pretty close.
So this next court, I will be submitting that to get to the U.S. Treasury. So
That will finalize our ARPA.
we have 2 invoices outstanding. We have one more payment for E-Tex, and then we have the Holly Street Drainage Project that is in Wascom that we paid for the materials, but we have not paid for the labor because it is not a completed project.
Can you mark that $100,000 on that, on the drainage?
No, because it's part of the internet. Remember, we had to spend $3 million on water or internet or sewage.
Okay.
So I would love to, that way we didn't pay anything back, but we can't do it because it's part of the $3 million that we had to spend on one of the categories that was required.
Just take it out of the judge's
Watch it, Commissioner. All right, was that a motion, Commissioner? You want to,
You had to take it out of yours?
I like your motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Timmons, a second by Commissioner Ebar. This is for payment of our regular bills. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of payroll for February 14th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Timmons, second by Mr. Hatfield. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion passes 5-0. Number 4 is consideration of action subject to ratification of the board the approval of the transfer of funds in the amount of $200,000 to the group health insurance for payment of medical claims. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Coos. Ms. Haynes, this $200,000, does that get us caught up for a few weeks, a month or 2?
We hope a month. We hope a month.
I noticed in the claim, we transferred 200,000, but it says the claims was like 56,202. Do y'all just put in more for upcoming?
Yes, sir. What we do is we try to keep some before the non-payroll weeks so that we don't have to come and ask for money every so often. But there's always a surplus until we completely deplete it, and that's when we come and request funds to transfer.
So it was depleted down.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Next up from our Road and Bridge Department, good morning, Mr. Davis.
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners, how y'all doing this morning? So, right now, we're still continuing to focus on our patching. It's good to see some sunshine for a change, so we've got everybody that we have out there out patching roads. So, by the time we catch them up, we usually get another rain. It's just been a cycle this whole last month, but I think it's fixing to break and change, so we are making progress. We're continuing to pick up trees. Right now, that's all we got going on, a lot of patching.
Are you still taking those trees out to your both side of the airport on Buckshire?
Yes, sir.
And you still got that huge pile?
Yes, sir. We got,
Plans to do something with that?
yeah, eventually we'll burn it. We've got a meeting with FEMA today, so they're probably gonna wanna ride out there and see the debris pile at the number 1 pit and the one out at Munt's cut off. So that's how they usually pay us, is by the cubic yard of the tree debris. So we'll go out there and measure it, and as soon as they sign off on it, we'll get the fire department out there and we'll burn it. Then we'll have to scatter the ashes for, growth.
Okay. Scatter the ashes where?
Out at the pit, we have some bare spots. Yeah, we'll just take and spread them out to promote grass growth. We have to use them for something, you know. It's just part of their rules.
Sounds like a good use.
Fertilizer.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Davis? Not, we'll
We've had one new hire since our last court meeting.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Opposed? None motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of the utility application submitted to Harrison County Road and Bridge Department as follows. These three applications are all from Sabine Oil and Gas, and they're all on the Tom Woodley Road, which is County Road 3029. Motion approved.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Coos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and action to approve the preliminary plat for Southern Pines Edition Phase 2 subdivision off of FM 2208 in Precinct 4.
Yeah, this is a preliminary plat for it's a add-on. It's gonna be a phase 2. And it's right there off of 2208 and Precinct 4. It has been reviewed and it does meet all our standards outlined in our utilities applications. Our subdivision application.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Coos. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Taylor.
Have y'all had a chance to review our road construction and seal coat list?
We don't have an agenda item to discuss that, but maybe that's something, I guess, each commissioner, I'll encourage you guys to respond to Davis via email with any questions or comments. That work for you?
That'll work. Thank you.
Next up, for our county clerk, this is consideration and approval of the transcribed minutes of Commissioners Court meeting of February 11th, 2025. So motion approved.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coos, second by Commissioner Ebar. You guys had an opportunity to review those minutes, and if there are no questions, comments, or corrections. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Next up from our treasurer, good morning, Ms. Rushing.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the treasurer's monthly report for January 2025 and the authorization published on the county website pursuant to local government code, section 114.026.
For the month of January, our beginning balance was $2,212,668.95. Receipts, $27,941,859.64. Disbursements, $20,943,202.12. Cash plus investments ending for the month of January was $32,759,230.59.
Is there a motion to approve our treasurer's monthly report for January 2025?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? This is gonna be about as good as it's gonna get for us. It's all downhill from here, huh?
Pretty much. I do expect a little bit more from the tax office. I had asked for another mid-report, but they're working on some issues, and I haven't received that yet, but I anticipate maybe another $7 million for the month of. Mhm. That's just a guesstimate.
We'll hold it to it. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion passes 5-0. Number 2 is consideration and approval of the treasurer's, the Harrison County Treasurer's investment report for January 2025.
For the month of January, our beginning balance in Texas class was $1,130,784.57. Interest earned was $4,371.94, with an ending balance of $1,135,156.61. Texas Bank and Trust In wealth management, we have $22,412,747.51, with a total invested of $23,547,904.12. Interest earned from Texas Bank and Trust Wealth Management for the month of January was $115,922.74. We had Texas Bank and Trust Money Market. We earned for the interest for the month of January, we earned $30,033.34, with a balance there of $8,094,680.53. And Texas Bank and Trust Treasury main account, we earned interest of $2,545.98, with a monthly interest total of $152,874, and yearly interest total of $351,367.
Is there a motion to approve our treasurer's investment report for January 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coos, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments on the investment report? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration of approval of quarterly fees paid to the state comptroller by the county treasurer for October through December 2024.
The quarterly state and county fees for the months of October through December of 2024. Our civil fees report, we paid the state $27,278.03. We're able to retain $4. Criminal fees report, we paid the state $121,106.20. We were able to retain $22,308.19. Sexual assault report, we paid the state $60. Specialty court report, we paid the state $39.23. We were able to retain $4.36. Total paid to the state, $148,651.52, and we retained the $22,316.55. And money that was already submitted to the state by e-file was $33,963, which a grand total of $204,931.07 for the months of October through December of 2024.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Coos. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Next, purchasing. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and action, consideration and approval to declare the listed fixed assets as salvage and/or surplus and appropriately dispose of said items.
Yes, sir. We have several vehicles that have gone back to Enterprise in the replacement program. And then we have some that TAC has declared as total losses, and we're in the process of working with TAC to get settlement statements on those.
You working with Mr. Nenninger on that? He usually got the bulk of the surplus that just needs to.
Yes, sir.
Go.
These at the bottom, most of those have come from elections office, and so he's got a whole lot more, I understand, so,
Been working with you well on it.
yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Very well.
Good deal.
He's got some good guys over there that are very helpful too, so.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Is there a motion to approve this list of fixed assets that we're declaring as salvage?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments on these items?
One more question, when TAC, says something there's a total loss on it.
Yes, sir, they're
Do
working.
they provide any assistance in replacing it?
They have to take into consideration all the equipment, if any equipment was damaged in it, because if it wasn't, they can usually take it out. But if it's damaged, then it's covered under our insurance, so we're working on those vehicles, so.
I don't know that they help us provide assistance replacing, because we use Enterprise for that.
Okay.
So they, I guess they'll send us the funds for the damaged vehicle, then we'll pay off what we owe the Enterprise, and then Enterprise will get us the new.
Yes, sir.
If there was some equipment on those vehicles we could use.
Yes, sir. They're police interceptors. I think, from what I understand right now, there was one for sure that had a lot of damage to the equipment on the inside, and they're working on that. But the other two, I'm not sure. They haven't told me about those yet. But like I said, it's a process. We're working through it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Ah.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of the sealed bid specifications for the following RFP and authorization of the publication for the notice of bidders for RFP number 2025-01 for Harrison County Depository and Sub-Depository Contract.
Yes, sir. This is due again. We had one before with Texas Bank and Trust, I guess that's, and we were able to renew it for 2 years, I think, and now that's 2 years is up, and we have to go out for bids again.
Will this one have the same renewal, 2-year renewal,
I believe so, yes, sir. It'll be 4,
Two-year extension,
so
yes.
6 years is what it takes?
and that was what the last one was.
But we'll start the, if this is approved, then tomorrow it'll start being published in the paper and then on our website, so that, and then I have a list of bidders to send the information to as well.
So this is our local banking relationship.
Yes, sir. This is our,
So you're reaching out to all our local banks.
yes, sir. In the past, we've had some that are smaller banks that can't accommodate what we need, so, but the other ones, hopefully we'll get good stuff in there, so.
Is there a motion to approve this RFP for our depository contract?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner T-Bar, second by Commissioner Lewis, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Under new business, item number 1 is consideration and action to rescind order number 2024-610 dated December 31, 2024, that approved the local match of $9,913.80. So we're gonna rescind that and then approve the second revision, which is SF-424 from FEMA, for the local match to be in the amount of $11,603.80 for Harrison County Road and Bridge generator purchase.
Commissioner Coos is over trying to catch up on this one. This is probably, can go on record as the longest grant application we have ever had. This is coming up on 4 years, trying to get a generator for the Road and Bridge Company through FEMA. This will be the third time that the judge has been asked to sign this SF-424 form, simply because it's been so long, we keep getting price increases on the generator, and so we had to go back and revise everything. So hopefully, this will get it done. They say that our contract is ready and waiting, sitting on FEMA's desk. All they need is this form signed one more time, and it'll bump up our cost a little bit, about right at $1,700, $1,690 to be exact, a little more. But altogether, it's a little over $100,000 project. It'll put a very, very badly needed piece of equipment out at Road and Bridge. I keep saying they're the first responders of the first responders, because if they don't clear roads for us, we can't go do our job. So they need to be able to operate under any kind of conditions, and this will give them that ability.
Very well said. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Timmons, second by Mr. Ebar. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you staying on top of this.
Thank you, sir.
Item number 2 is consideration and approval for out-of-state travel for Lacey L. McDonald, our Harrison County CEAFCH to Arlington, Virginia for the 2025 Public Issues Leadership Development Conference, of which she received a scholarship to cover some of the expenses of travel. Is asking the county to cover the reimbursement of travel expenses from her travel line item. Is there a motion to approve?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons, and, Ms. McDonald, you've been appointed, or I guess to lead the state of Texas for this group, is that right?
Yes, sir. I currently serve as the state president for Epsilon Sigma Phi. And Epsilon Sigma Phi is a professional association within Extension, and I currently serve as state president. And Extension is going to cover my registration, my hotel, and airfare. But I'm so sorry, spam. But I just wanted the county to cover other additional expenses such as meals and the parking at the hotel. Yes, sir.
We're happy to do that, and congratulations, thank you for serving, this organization as our state chairman for that, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Happy you were selected. We have a motion and a second, any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and approval of the renewal of the Thomson Reuters Westlaw account number 1003-218-147 with a 5-month bridge that will allow access to the new Westlaw Edge features now without increasing the price until the end of the current term, which will start August 1, 2025, with a new monthly charge rate of $507.45 for a 3-year term with a 5% annual price increase in the second and third years. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Thank y'all for that. This is the access to what we call our law library. It's not just for the law library, for our attorneys, well, for the public to use in the law library, but also attorneys in our DA's office and judges also have access to this Westlaw account. And Ms. Graff is the one that keeps up with this and keeps everybody with a current subscription. So thank you to her and keeping us going here. Is there any other questions or comments? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consideration and approval of the ground lease transfer of hangar number 12 from Ponder Victory Enterprises, Inc. and Ponder Investment Corp. to Ken Lawler Builders, Inc. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Coos. Evidently, this Victory Enterprise Group has sold this hangar to Ken Lawler Builders, and part of our requirement for our ground leases is they notify us and ask for approval or acknowledgement that this lease has been assigned and transferred. That's what we're considering here today. Any other questions or comments? We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 5 is consideration and approval of the resolution regarding the Northeast Texas Municipal Water District. And I'll go ahead and just read this resolution to you guys. If you have any comments, we'll address it then. It says this resolution at a regular meeting of the Harrison County Commissioners Court held at the Harrison County Historic Courthouse in Marshall, Texas, at which a quorum was present. The following resolution was adopted. Whereas water is one of the most important resources of our Northeast Texas community, and whereas the overconsumption of water by communities outside of Northeast Texas poses a threat to our community, and whereas there are those that would consider selling or leasing our water from our local lakes, whereas much of Harrison County is dependent on water that originates in and comes from Lake of the Pines, now therefore be it resolved, the Commissioners Court of Harrison County opposes the sale or lease of water from Lake of the Pines to any water district outside the Northeast Texas Municipal Water District. Witness our hands this 25th day of February. That's our resolution. You guys have had a chance to review it. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. And today, we do have Ms. Judy Patterson, who
I have 4 pages of history associated with this, but since you've read this resolution, I think that some of this is already covered. A lot of legal data that I was going to present to the court. I'd be happy to do that if anyone has any questions. I have a lot of scientific data of how this potential sale would affect both Cypress River, Big Cypress River, and Caddo Lake. And we all know that City of Marshall, and I found out yesterday from Judge Sims that I didn't know that part of Harrison County residents received their water from Marshall out of that basin. We know that if the water went down from this sale, there would not be enough water for your intake from Big Cypress. That's just a fact. Then you pay additional fees to have that water raised so that it comes up, and you can even pump water, which at that point would be extremely low quality. So I feel like that I want to make sure that I answer any questions that may be apparent to you. We know that there is some numbers circulating right now of how deep Lake of the Pines is, and that is how deep Lake of the Pines was when it was first created. What we now know is that the Lake of the Pines holds 150,000 acre-feet of water, or a little less, depending on if it's August or September or a drought or any of those things. During a drought, our area, which is, I should say, your area, because Uncertain gets their water elsewhere, but still from a deep well that is dependent on water coming in. During a drought, the area uses at least 50,000 acre-feet of water, or a little more. So now you're down to 100,000 acre-feet. But the proposal is to sell 100,000 acre-feet outside of the district to North Texas Municipal Water District. If the area used 50,000 and 100,000 acre-feet is sold, that equals zero. There's none left for anyone, anywhere in the whole area. On Thursday night, the City of Uncertain passed a resolution that says that we oppose water being sold from anywhere in the Cypress River Basin, because we know that all of that watershed comes into Lake of the Pines, which has a direct, and the Little Cypress River and the other tributaries that come into Caddo Lake, Big Cypress Bayou, the whole thing. So we're just here to ask you, we did form a coalition. The coalition is made up of the City of Uncertain, the Greater Caddo Lake Association of Texas, the Greater Caddo Lake Association of Louisiana, the Caddo Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, the Lake of the Pines Chamber of Commerce, the Caddo Lake Institute, who is doing a huge scientific studies going along with this, including through engineers and hydrologists. And then also the Caddo Biocontrol Alliance. So we're a large coalition that is actively fighting this. We say no sale. There is a lot of interaction being used between the terms water sale and water rights sale, and a lot of people are just saying water sale. We know that that's two very different things. I can sell gas from my mineral lease, or I can sell the rights to my gas for the mineral lease. Two very different things. I appreciate this resolution, the whole coalition, I think if you're hearing, the whole region appreciates this resolution and the support of no sale in any form or fashion of water outside of the water district. And so thank you for that. I appreciate your consideration. And if any of you do have questions about the science or facts involved in this, I would be glad to answer any questions.
you used a number that currently they're pulling 50,000 acre feet of water a year. Is that gonna be all, like the city of Longview in what Marshall pulls, or is that the total
That is the total level of the lake.
that everybody pulls from?
No, it's not what's pulled, it's the level of the
Well, you
lake.
said it was 150,000 acre feet
Uh-huh.
currently. And you said that the use a year was 50,000
And
acre feet.
that's the total for all the,
Oh, it's pulling from it now?
yes.
So a drought year, we'd lose a third of it, and then they're gonna take the rest of it. So we'll have a mud hole.
Drought year is, that's without even a drought. And so if we had a drought year or multiple years, there's no water coming. It's coming from somewhere else that you're paying a lot of money to get. So,
Any other questions for Mayor Patterson?
Yes, Mayor, do you know if the city of Marshall has done a resolution or intent?
I have not gotten that information. I have been pursuing that to try to learn that and have not got, they have not, I do know they have not at this point done a resolution, but I am trying to get the information, and I can relay that back to you as soon as I have that information.
Right, because they need to know how important
Yes.
it is to the city of Marshall. It's more important to the city of Marshall, I believe, than anywhere else.
That's, I mean,
Yeah.
the intake is below the dam, so, yes. And I plan to visit them also.
What
And
about
then
the city of Longview, have they joined in?
the city of Longview is drafting something.
Okay.
And then, I believe it's Harleton is also being spoken to. And so I will tell you this, the vote comes down to the NetMed board, which includes 7 representatives from the 7 cities that currently have water rights. The 7 cities then have an equal vote, even though they own different proportions of the water. There are several cities that are against it. There are some cities that are for it, and the bottom line is money.
Do you know what cities have come out? I saw a clip where Marion County's commission had come out one night this last week, and they were all in unison against the
That's it.
sale. Do you know what other cities of the 7 that have come out against it?
There have not been any come out against it. There have been 2 that have not come out for it, but have given every indication that that's the intention.
So they've got to have, it takes 5 of the 7 to pass it, correct?
And that's kind of that's not a fact.
Oh, it's not?
We're shooting for all of them.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is whether it's worth North Texas money and time to come in, and if they don't get X amount of the sale, and particularly they're looking for water rights because they want it long-term. If they don't get X amount of that sale, then they'll abandon it. But we don't know what those numbers are because there's a NDA out there that,
Let me ask you a question. I read one article that said that the big sticking point on this was that the Northeast Texas Water District didn't own the rights to the footage or the excess water above the 232 or whatever the pool level is at Lake of the Pines, that pool level was actually owned by the Corps of Engineers. Is that, am I wrong? I've read that, I know.
I know, there is a lot of information out there, and to sift through it is crazy.
Well, when you read it, it sounded like that the Northeast Texas Water District really was trying to sell something that they didn't have rights to when you read the article that I read.
There's percentages of how much is owned and the acre feet of how much is on. The Corps actually just manages the lake. It doesn't actually own the water. And so Lone Star Steel's involved, SWEPCO's involved, which you heard yesterday. SWEPCO came out and said, don't let this happen. The Lone Star Steel has come, City of Lone Star has come out and said that they were against it. And so, along with Jefferson. So,
So we need one more anyway.
We need to feel
We'd be
comfortable,
nice
at
to
least
have all
one, if
seven.
not, yes. We need at least one more, and we need the board from NetMed to have some disagreement among themselves. We heard yesterday there was a lot of facts and figures presented at the NetMed board meeting, and the response from the general manager is all these people, and there were, I think, 120 or something that were there, all these people are misinformed. With no science behind that, no reference to, I'll go look it up. I mean, give me a reference, I'll go look it up, I'll see what the facts are. No reference to where those facts are, but all these people are wrong, and I'm right.
Well, he needs going back to Dallas.
And he's going back to Dallas, the Dallas area, Tarrant
Well,
County.
now, let me ask you a question. He was hired by the 7 members of the Northeast Texas Water District, so these are the 7 cities that's actually involved. He was hired by them at an exorbitant salary, what I understand.
So
do
current-
they have the power to release him and send him back to Dallas?
And it's a large salary,
I swear.
and they do have that power.
Okay.
And there was pressure yesterday for that to occur by several people. So, there is he was called the Trojan horse, he was called some other,
I heard some other names.
yes, so,
And you mentioned Halton, and I'm on the water board at Halton, so I've been
Oh,
following.
good, okay.
Talking with our director of ours. We don't buy any surface water. We buy, we've got wells that we drill that service the Halton, but our other leg that's northwest that runs through Jefferson, Marion County and runs on further east, they buy treated water from the Northeast Texas.
Okay, I was
And
mistaken about that.
when we meet monthly and get our monthly statement and
Mm-hmm.
bills, that number has gone up. It seems like every month,
Mm-hmm.
the price of the treated water has almost gone to the point where, you know, and
Can't
we're
afford
even
it.
looking at what are another options? Do we drill a well and quit buying that or what? But I mean, so I don't know if Mr. McGill there at Halton has become involved. I asked him because, he's part of the, we got 10, 11 independents, I think, around the county, that have, and I know, I talked with Mr. Todd last week, or the week before, at Gum Springs, and I didn't know that, but they've actually buy water from about 4 taps on the Longview side of the system that's coming. So they're directly involved where some of our smaller might not be as involved as what, and then there was 3 or 4 systems that buy from the city of Marshall. So, you know, we've probably got half a dozen that we know of.
Right.
That are involved directly because of what's happening from the city of Longview and the city of Marshall. So I think this is a bigger issue than what anybody really realizes.
That's right.
In Harrison County, what the long-term effect for our citizens and future generations could be.
What it seems like is that the general manager came to the board, presented information. The board, as you should be able to, in my opinion, felt confidence in their general manager and took what the general manager was saying at heart, as truth, as fact, and started promoting it. And now a lot of things are coming out that is absolutely incorrect. And we can't get anything from them because they're under an NDA, which was we all know, in a public meeting, public commission, NDAs are taboo. So, that's being challenged right now by some attorneys. So.
I don't see how they've gone in and this has been kept so under wraps for so long because, I mean.
2 years.
We have to abide by Texas law and when we go into executive, we can discuss items, but we can't act on items. You have to come back out of executive and actually put it on the table and vote in public forum as the direction. So I would be interested to see, something's gone on undercover
Yes.
for everybody to have the information and y'all not be able to get the facts and the figures and this and all, because how can you have an NDA but it would, hadn't discussed anything in it in
You-
public forum.
They do.
By law, we're bound, we can't discuss outside of what we discussed in an
Exactly.
executive session anyway. So, I mean, why do you need an NDA? I mean, you're already bound by, once you go in, but you can't act or
Right.
vote, or you can't even canvass your board in the executive to see how the vote will go when you come out and actually do it in public. So
We-
to me, they should be, they should have the same set of rules that everybody that meets in the state of Texas.
And they
Whether
do.
it's a county, a city, a school board, or any organization that has a board of directors, they all follow the same Open Meetings Act. And so, I mean, I don't understand how.
And that's why it's being
so, yeah,
challenged.
Yeah.
And so, it's unfortunate because I really believe there were some innocent people involved in this, and they've gotten snowballed, and they've gotten just, things presented. It was presented to them that, the water rights, if you're not using the water, it could be taken away with intensity. The board member for Avenger, I was at their city council meeting, the board member for Avenger last month reiterated that. I sent an email with a copy of the law that says, never been done in the state of Texas, your rights removed. It also says if you bought those rights, which those 7 cities did, that it cannot be removed. And last night it was stated to Avenger City Council again with a piece of paper that just had it written on there, not referencing the law. Just a piece of paper that said they can come in and take your water if you're not using it. There's no water up there that's not being used. None. There's a voluntary release that goes into Caddo Lake, down Big Cypress River. And in August and September, come to my house in Uncertain, and you will see that the lake is dry, and they're doing a voluntary release on top of that. What if they weren't doing that voluntary release? There would be no lake in front of my house.
I think the big ticket item, and nobody you hadn't seen anything or any numbers because they hadn't released anything, but it would be interesting to me to see where these 7 cities stand, what they stand to gain monetary
Right.
from the sale of this water. Because, I mean, do they get a small percentage? Does Northeast Water District get the bulk of it, or does the 7 cities that were brought in the 50s when they built the dam and paid to finish the lake, what their actual yearly or monthly take would be if this passes?
Right. There are predictions anywhere from $5,000 a month on up to $200,000
See,
a
I
month.
heard some astronomical numbers.
Yes,
I thought,
and one of the things I asked at a city council meeting was, okay, you get this money. Let's say it's $200,000 a month. You get this money, and we're talking little towns, right? Like, if City of Uncertain had $200,000, oh my gosh, But our whole budget doesn't equal $200,000. But, 6, 7, 8 years, your infrastructure is beautiful. You have the most beautiful roads. You have everything. All of your things are in place. And then what do you do with that money for the next 20-something years? Because they're saying a 30-year contract. Because it has to be spent. Something has to happen with it. So you're going to invest $200,000 a year that's not spent? What does that look like? And how do you draw in businesses to keep your town flourishing? What does that look like? I sent emails. I've received no communication back. And so that is the biggest that town is the biggest contender and fighter for this.
I do have a question. How can individuals, or is there a number that local residents can call and put pressure on these people, the 7 cities, to not sell their water?
Their mayor's office, their city's office, that's the number. Currently, Greg Abbott is in on this. He's aware, and he's not for the sale. Senator Perry, who's from Lubbock, who's driving the water restructuring and the infrastructure revisions in Texas, is against this sale. Representative Jay Dean, that is our representative, held a public forum a couple of weeks ago. Did I see you there, Commissioner Hatfield, at that public forum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick Hatfield and I both.
Okay. He held a public forum that gave some information. The science involved in this is, it's a whole workshop, but that gave some information. He's against it. And then I think we have 5 counties right now that are completely against it. 3 counties that are completely against it, that have signed resolutions. Cass County happened this morning. On their agenda is resolution. So that's 4 counties that have involved Lake of the Pines, all 4 of them.
Okay, but has anybody put the information out to the residents?
It's all over Facebook. It's all over Facebook. It's all over.
That's the people that's not on Facebook.
It's
and might need
posted
a
on.
postcard.
Yes, and that's been discussed.
Okay.
There's, this is happening very fast. It came out at the end of December. And in this amount of time, there's a petition going around that has almost 7,000 signatures in a month and a half. And so.
But what I do know that if the water department would send something out, people will pay attention to it.
Yes, yes,
They will read it and they will respond.
yes. So that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. And there may be somebody on this coalition that is pursuing that I'm not aware of. So, thank you very much for having this on your agenda, for considering this resolution.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can you tell us what 7 cities,
I'm sorry?
what 7 cities you're referencing?
Avenger, Hughes Springs, Lone Star, Pittsburgh, Dangerfield, and Ore City. The counties are Cass,
Morris is that.
Morris, thank you. I went blank. I'm sorry, I went blank. Cass, Morris, and Upshur, and Marion. Thank you. That should have been the first one out of my mouth. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
So,
4 counties?
4 counties with 7 cities, and then 7 representatives appointed by the 7 cities that are on the North Texas Water Board. And there are calls for those appointments to be rescinded, and that become a vote that they are elected in as opposed to appointed by the cities. So,
And you're not sure if it takes a majority for that to pass? I know all that paperwork and when they were building Lake of the Pines was in the 50s.
mm-hmm.
But you don't know whether or not out of these 7, does it take 5 to pass, or does it have to be unanimous, or where are we at on that?
We think that there are 2 that want to sell. We know that there are 2 that do not want to sell.
Right.
So the other 3, they're still listening, and we're still going there.
Okay.
And we don't know anything from the board because they won't talk to us. They won't say a word. So I would think, as a city of Uncertain, if we had a representative out there that we appointed, I would hope that that representative would listen to what the city's saying and that they would go to their board meeting and say no. City of Jefferson is saying no. Lone Star is saying no. You would hope that your representative that you appointed would go to that board meeting and say no. That's logic. So.
Mayor, thank you for your.
Absolutely.
concern For Caddo, but, as you share our concern for Harrison County.
All of it. We're all neighbors. And if one thing we've seen is that this issue has brought East Texas together like nothing ever seen before. We are all neighbors, And that's when the city of Uncertain talks about our people, we talk about our community. We don't talk about our city per se. We talk about our community. And our community includes people that are Harrison County residents, not city of Uncertain residents. So I think that has been huge, and it's actually opened up opportunities for us to do some other things that need to occur for protections for your water supply, for our water supply. So thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. If you would just take notice of our next agenda item, and I'd like for you to visit with Mr. Todd after the meeting today.
Perfect,
I
perfect.
think
Thank
it'd be
you.
a great working relationship. All right, back before us, we have this, we have a motion and a second. This is for the resolution regarding the disapproval of the sale of water from the Northeast Texas Municipal Water District. A motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Next up is consideration and action regarding the creation of the Harrison County Water Advisory Committee to consider the interests of the county residents pertaining to drinking water in Harrison County. And I wrote some comments here I'd like to just read to you guys. I believe there's a need for this organization to deal with drinking water for Harrison County ourselves. With the looming vote in the Northeast Texas Municipal Water District to sell water from Lakewood Pines, our county needs a voice. Gathering a representative from each of the local or community water supplies in the cities with water systems will be a great start. I'd like to see this group educate themselves on who uses water and from where. I'd like the committee to report back to the county on the best way to provide ample water and protect our residents. I've had this same conversation with Mr. Derek Todd, who's here today from Gum Springs Water Supply. Mr. Todd agreed to reach out and gather a representative from each water providing entity. The committee members may then elect a chairman, their chairman, or other officers as they see fit. They may also set their own agenda and address any issues that they believe would improve freshwater access to the residents of our county. So again, this is just what I believe is a good idea to call for the creation of a advisory committee. They'll have no enforcement arm. They'll be educating themselves, bringing information back to us. What you just mentioned today, actually, you, Commissioner, about sending out a letter to people. The people in these little community water supplies get a letter or a note in the form of a bill every month, and so that's a great way to communicate with them and let them know what's going on. So I think that's could be a big benefit to us. This is Derek Todd from Gum Springs Water Supply, and I appreciate you being willing to head this up. I know you've already laid some groundwork, and I'll let you read through your notes that you had there for us.
I met with the judge last week, and I done some calling yesterday. We have roughly about 16 to 18 water, I'm gonna say municipal water supplies and rural water supplies through Harrison County. Now, you have to go down and look at the active and inactive list when you're looking at all the water supplies. You have some investor-owns, you have some that have combined over the years. And you can pull it off the state website, the PUC, and they will tell you if it's active or inactive. But I've made quite a few calls yesterday. I've got 7 for sure interested, which is Gum Springs Water Supply Corporation, City of Hallsville Water, Harleton Water Supply, Lee Water Supply, City of Marshall, City of Wascom, and West Harrison Water Supply. So as of now, that reaches for where we're located, the far western side of the county to your eastern side of the county. So I think that's a good start. I'm waiting on callbacks from the other entities in between. Some of them have answering services, or depends on how they can contact you back. I'm waiting on calls, but the ones I have spoke to so far have been very willing, wanting to do it. And I kind of put it out there as we can maybe meet quarterly or once a year, however we decide to set it up. But the committee potentially being formed is for water systems throughout Harrison County to be able to come together and discuss concerns, the topics regarding water-related subjects, to get to know our neighbors' water systems, and that are right next door, as well as across the county. For water systems to lend a hand if need be during vital times, such as barn repair clamps, asking where to locate certain items or parts. Water systems can also work together with operational questions. Overall, a committee would be beneficial to the water systems and the customers who are Harrison County residents that are served by these water systems. We're all kind of spread out throughout the county. With this going on with Lake of the Pines, it has kind of brought this to the forefront. As been talked about, even with Lake of the Pines, it's going to filter down through the water systems. Our water system is, majority of it's purchased from City of Longview, and then we have Purdue side, where your water actually essentially goes back to your aquifers, which is around this area is the Criswell-Wilcox aquifers. A lot of systems do maintain their water source just from wells. Or like, as mentioned, purchased from the City of Marshall, different entities. I had very good conversations yesterday, very good input. I'm going to a Texas Rural Water Association meeting today here in Marshall. I am going to meet with a few of the ones I did talk to yesterday. TRWA is our liaison for the state between the EPA and Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. So, but I will be meeting with some of these individuals today just to kind of talk to them and put a name with a face. But overall, talking about, coming together to discuss what's going on with Lake of the Pines, as well as getting together as a whole in the county for the betterment of the county and the residents for the water systems and our water here. And we have to protect our water because once we're gone, it's going to be our children, our grandchildren, and we have to leave it behind in the best hands in the best way we can. I've been in the water since 1995 and still got many years to go, Lord willing. But it's a vital necessity, and it's something that you can't live without, and it's something they're not making anymore. So, but I appreciate the judge reaching out and discussing it, so I'm anxious to see where this kind of leads.
I appreciate you being willing, and certainly you heard Mayor Patterson mention some of the other organizations that she's kind of grouping together that are trying to have a unified voice.
Yes.
In this Lake of the Pines thing, and I think you all be a great fit, right along with them, supporting and furnishing information that they need as well. So thank you very much for doing that. If you need something, from us, you have any questions or whatever, please let us know how we can help.
Okay. You same way with y'all. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
So this is an action item on the creation of the Harrison County Water Advisory Committee. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any other questions or comments? And I've kind of purposely kept that very broad and general so that committee's free to do whatever they want to do and investigate as deep and far as they like, and certainly bring back that information to us or any other entity. I mean, I would hope that y'all report to the City of Marshall, City of Hall, City of Wasson, and whoever would benefit from what you gather. So thank y'all for doing that. I'm tired of listening to me. Any other questions or comments? Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Our number 7 item is consideration and action regarding the approval of the month-to-month hanger lease in the amount of $250 aircraft registration form for hanger number 41 with Jeremy Davis to be effective March 1st, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Coos. Is that a
Second for me.
By Commissioner Hatfield.
You bet.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Last item is there a motion to adjourn.
So moved.